You're listening to Zap Night's Zap Chats, a monthly video game discussion. Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Zap Chats for October. I'm your host, Danny.
I'm your co-host, Kaylee.
Kaylee, how are you?
I'm okay.
It's October. I don't really have anything other than that, but it is October. What have you been playing?
We just finished Final Fantasy VIII.
Yep.
So nothing.
Yep.
Nothing
Both
right
of
now.
us. We've kind of decided to play Stardew Valley next.
Ooh.
So we'll be playing that pretty much starting right away, at least on my end. Are you planning on picking it up already?
I might here soon. I've been trying to play some of the Animal Crossing Halloween decor drop or whatever they just did. I haven't played Animal Crossing in a while, so
Gotcha.
got some pumpkins and stuff to be planting.
Nice. Yeah, I'm planning on starting Stardew Valley pretty much right away. Probably by the time this podcast episode airs, I will have already started. So if you guys are interested, you can catch that on our Twitch channel. It's twitch.tv/zapnight. So you can come hang out and watch me play some Stardew Valley. I don't know anything about it. I mean, I've seen people play it. I know that it's a farming simulator game, but I don't really know the details.
Do you know what you're playing it on yet?
I'm going to play it on the Switch.
Oh, okay.
So that's the plan.
Nice. I have it for the computer. I contemplated picking it up for the Switch, but I'm not sure yet.
They're coming out with the physical copy, so I think I'm going to play it digitally on the Switch, and then when the physical copy gets released, maybe I'll pick it up there, and then, the save game will just transfer over. But nice. I don't really know. I mean, once I've played it, I don't really need to play it again. That's usually how it is. Like, I don't really have time to be playing much of anything outside of what I'm playing for the podcast. So
I don't think you really like, not that you hate them, but it doesn't really seem like these are your kind of games that you like to play in particular.
I just like having a very direct goal outside of just building up your farm. So I don't know. I think what's going to be different about this one is because you can sleep, kind of like how Harvest Moon was, where you can just sleep and then it's the next day. I think that will help me, where I don't have to wait until literally the next day like Animal Crossing was.
Sure.
So, maybe that'll be a little different. We haven't done our Final Fantasy VIII podcast episode yet. We'll probably be doing it in, obviously by the end of the month.
Yeah. Should be soon. It was, I was having fun playing this game, actually.
Yeah, I did too. And I finished it and was surprised that it ended kind of easily.
Yeah.
I was expecting this very difficult boss fight at the very end, and then it wasn't quite as difficult as I was expecting.
I actually had problems.
Oh, did you?
Not like major problems, but I died twice.
I died once, and the first time I died, I think I had a bad run. And then I played it again, but I had the strategic advantage of knowing what was coming, so I was able to kind of adjust my characters to prepare for that. But I had a funny run. Mine
was strictly bad timing on everything.
Sure.
I was using a whole bunch of invincibility items, and they would run out just as a big move would drop from the boss, and it would just wipe us out completely. So,
and we'll go into more detail about it, but I just we just got done and we haven't talked to each other since we finished it. So it's how was it?
Though, I will say, when I finished, the next day I got up and I was doing stuff. I'm like, I kind of want to play 8. I've already beaten it, but I felt like I wanted to go and play it some more. So I don't know if I was just enthusiastic to be playing an RPG this time, or if I just had that much fun playing 8. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like, I don't know. we'll go into more detail, but it definitely was like, it was a lot of fun, but there was a moment where I was just like, oh, let's just have this be over. You know?
I didn't feel that way, but it's interesting. People's perspective on this game, which again we can get into later, but it's interesting hearing your side, I guess.
I know that this game has a lot of mixed reviews. You know, there's a lot of people who really, really love it, but there's a lot of people who really don't like it either. So, yeah, I'll be curious to see how we score these. I haven't even started scoring it yet. I've just... I planned on writing up the story and stuff this week, so hopefully we can get it recorded soon. But yeah, I don't have any idea how we're going to end up scoring this guy, but I'm excited because I really did enjoy it. So
yeah. Well, I'm kind of excited for Stardew. The RPGs take a while, and I just want something kind of relaxing. 2020 has been a rough year.
Yeah, I know.
we need to like tone down before we go into crazy Christmas shopping, I guess.
Yeah, and I think this will be nice to kind of unwind. And if we want to go right into Final Fantasy IX afterwards, or if we want to play a different RPG, or if we want to play something else entirely, it's open. Oh, also something interesting. I have bought a 3DS capture card.
Yay, you finally did it.
I did. So if you guys remember the Pokemon Diamond and Pearl episode, I had to use an emulator, which worked out okay, but it's not my ideal way of playing. I would much rather play on official hardware. And the guy in the US who makes the hardware adapters for the 3DS was opening up his orders again. So of course I jumped on that right away, and I had to send my 3DS in to be modified. So that's done. It's on its way back right now. So as soon as that's back, then that opens up thrift shop games for the DS and 3DS, as well as being able to stream our gameplay of, podcast games.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited because there's a lot of really good DS and 3DS games out there that I'm excited to throw on the list of games to play.
Nice. That's nice.
So with that, what if you were to play one DS 3DS game, which one would it be?
Oh man. You asked me this earlier, and I did not come up with any. I don't know why. I've played 3DS games. I don't know if it's just that the 3DS was not that memorable, or I played an awful lot of Animal Crossing on mine.
Yeah.
I know you'd mentioned something about Bravely Default.
Yeah, I really want to play Bravely Default. Do you have it?
I used to.
Oh. I don't know what we'll do if only one of us has it. I don't know if I can do anything about it. We may have to buy another one or whatever, but we'll figure it out. But also Pokemon X and Y, that is like my favorite. Oh, yeah. That's my favorite out of all the Pokemon games. Yeah, I love X and Y. So that'll be really fun to pick up.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, and then, I was going to say Sun and Moon, but...
womp womp.
Yeah, I hear that that's a lot of people didn't like those games. So I'm glad I wasn't the only one. I thought maybe it was just I was getting too old for Pokemon, but no. It seemed like for the most part it was everyone else felt the same way.
What's funny is that I really didn't like Sun and Moon, and a lot of people, like you said, didn't. But I loved Sword and Shield, and a lot of people didn't like that game. So I don't really know, I think the biggest problem with Sun and Moon was that they strayed too far from the normal Pokemon formula. And then with Sword and Shield, it wasn't so much, it was back to the normal Pokemon formula, but they changed. I think that they didn't do the game itself justice with, the limited Pokemon in the game, and the graphics not being quite where they were supposed to be, but otherwise it was a good Pokemon game. So, I think Sun and Moon they missed the ball on that, basic Pokemon formula.
It's funny you mentioned how you liked Sword and Shield and a lot of people didn't. And I feel like that's how I am with a lot of stuff. I don't know if it's just that I'm easy to please because like I guess Kingsglaive, for example, we watched and reviewed that a while back. But I really liked that movie, and a lot of people didn't like it.
Yeah, I know. And it's weird to me because I think people who are huge fans of any given series have such a love for the games that when something doesn't meet expectations to some degree, it just kind of falls apart. Where for me, I'm so excited to just have something new that for the most part, as long as something doesn't epically fail, I'm pretty happy with it. You know, like Sun and Moon. I played Sun and Moon all the way through. Like, yeah, it wasn't my favorite game of the series, but I mean, I still played it. I still beat the game.
Yeah.
Unlike you.
Well,
I'm just teasing you. Just teasing you. So with that, talking about series, Final Fantasy XVI has been announced. What do you think about that?
Sorry. Hold on.
Okay. She has to collect her thoughts on what she feels about Final Fantasy XVI.
Like my little icon was like blinking, and then I was like, is there something like with my microphone? But it stopped doing it, so I don't know. Say something.
Hello, 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 hello.
I don't know. Oh well. Anyway, yeah, 16.
Yeah, so Final Fantasy XVI was announced, and obviously it's going to be for the PlayStation 5, which means that we're going to have to buy PS5s.
No.
Anything but that. Anything but a reason to buy a game system that I want to buy.
I guess it's a good reason to get it, because like right now I have no reason to get it. Okay, at first it was like $500. Wow, that's a lot of money. But then I was like, my phone was significantly more than that.
I know, isn't that nuts?
Yeah, it is kind of crazy. I don't know. Yeah, when I first saw the trailer, which I'm sure a lot of people did because it's by the people who made 14, but I thought it was for 14 for a minute.
Yeah, I think I did too. And I was kind of surprised when it came up to beat Final Fantasy XVI. But I think because it's by the same director of 14 or whatever, that the worlds may be really similar, if not within the same world itself. So that'll be interesting.
What did you think about it? Like the trailer? Are you excited, invested? Are there more questions than answers?
I don't think it was enough to really draw anything from to really be overly excited about. Like, I didn't really feel like there was anything in the trailer that was like, oh my gosh, I need this game. It was lacking in the technology side of the world. And I think that they're heading towards like this more medieval style Final Fantasy game.
Kind of going back to the roots.
Right, which is fine, and I don't mind that, but I will really miss that, you know, epic here's this airship that comes out of nowhere or something, you know. And they may still do that, but
at first, I wasn't impressed, but I will say the concept of the way I understand it is these people are like hosts for these summons, for lack of better words, and there can only be like one fire at a time, which I guess is why when you see Ifrit, it's such a big deal because you have Joshua, who is the small little kid character, who's the Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought the concept seemed kind of cool. How these people are kind of like a host for the summons, if you will. You know what I'm trying to say?
Right. I'm sure that crystals will have something to do with that. Whether it be they're protecting a centralized crystal or if they are a host to a crystal in some way. But yeah, that is definitely interesting. I have seen bits and pieces of proof that the game is going to be M-rated, so that's going to be very interesting.
Well, a lot of people were saying it was like Game of Thrones for Final Fantasy, but you could see like a little bit of like a splash of blood and stuff on the
Yeah, and if that's the way the game is, it's subtle, which works for you because I know that you're not a fan of the blood and gore whatsoever. But with it being subtle like that, it's like it's there to be semi-realistic, but it's not over the top, which is good.
I mean, you don't want, like, if the point is to just have gore everywhere, then it's just kind of tacky. But like, yeah, if it's something just like, I mean, that stuff happens, like, then that's fine. I don't like over the top.
You're not looking for Mortal Kombat meets Final Fantasy.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, that is exactly what it is. Yeah,
I think that it's just nice that they're going to make it for us. You know, really a mature audience.
Yeah.
You know, whether that means dealing with darker aspects of life or dealing with, you know, the brutalities of war or battle, you know, that to have that deeper, more mature tone to it, the Final Fantasy game will change a lot. And it's only the second game. If it is mature, I think it's only the second game in the series, not the main series, but Final Fantasy as a whole to be mature. Type 0. Yeah.
Type 0. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. It'll be interesting. I don't mind it being super serious, but I hope there is some like comedic tones to it because I don't want just purely political kind of a game. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
I agree.
Kind of like, what was it, Final Fantasy II, where it was just almost completely all war based.
Yeah, that's true. It was very, very serious.
We didn't see a whole lot of female characters. There was one.
There's no party members. As of right now, so I'm curious how they're going to work that in, if they are at all, which would be very strange of them.
Yeah, we did see, though, some pretty cool monsters.
Mm-hmm. Some like classic monsters.
Like the corals. I don't know how you pronounce it. The magic cats with the like wispy whiskers.
Yeah, the whip whiskers.
Yeah, those are pretty cool.
I think they're almost always thunder-based, aren't they?
I don't know. I know that they are well known for being magic, but I mean, it could be. I will say, though, I did not care for Shiva's design.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know if it's... I don't know. It wasn't anything that wowed me, but I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. I really didn't care for it. I feel like Shiva is one of those characters that has always had this, like, really interesting look to her, and I don't think she achieved that traditional look.
Well, think of it this way. When you're watching the trailer, Joshua, the Phoenix character, like, transforms into the Phoenix, and the character that's Ifrit transforms into Ifrit. Maybe that's the base character for Shiva, and she hasn't transformed? Just a thought.
I don't know. It's possible. I really don't know. I hope she. I don't know. I don't know. There's just not much information.
Oh yeah, there, exactly. Really. It's just fun to speculate.
From what I've seen, I just was not that impressed. I mean, it doesn't mean anything. She could end up being really cool. Like, she might grow on me later on, but overall, first impression, this trailer did not really hit a high note for me. I wasn't like, oh, wow, I can't wait for this to come out. I was just like, oh, okay.
I think what they were going for, from my perspective, wasn't so much a wow factor of what the game is meant to be, because I think that's coming. I think what they wanted to tell us was, one, this game is on its way, and two, it's coming really soon. Mm-hmm. And that's really because they were showing gameplay of it. Like, yeah, it wasn't on actual PS5 hardware, but that doesn't mean a whole lot. What does mean a lot is that they had battles, you know, battle footage, like gameplay footage of it. So that means that the game is, you know, further along than, when they announced Final Fantasy VII, for example, or Final Fantasy 15, when it was versus 13 or whatever. So, obviously they're learning from their past mistakes to some degree to maybe announce something that will be here in a year versus, 5 to 10 years,
Right.
which is, it's the common joke.
Something ridiculous.
It was something that we joked about as soon as it was announced, as soon as we watched the trailer, like, well, we get to see this in 30 years,
Coming to you, 2077.
Right.
Oh, I don't know. I hope you're right. I hope it's... I hope we'll get something a lot more wow later, but right now I'm not blown away. It's just kind of like, So we'll see. It's nice that we're not getting, like, it seems a little bit more, I don't know. I've seen people say it's not original because it seems like it's got, like, concepts of 13, like the second and third installation of 13 and a little bit of Final Fantasy 15 and
isn't that what a Final Fantasy game has been forever? I mean, look at when Final Fantasy X came out, it was like the same battle system they had been using for years, but like updated a little bit with like the same concept of, the summons and having to collect them from, Final Fantasy VI, mixed with this like dream state, which they've used in the past. So like, all of the Final Fantasy games are built around the same concepts, just telling a different story within the, pre-existing formula or pre-existing elements.
I guess I don't have my own personal strong opinion on it, but I've seen people compare, like, which again, you don't have much information from just the trailer alone, but people are like, oh, it's like story-wise, it's like, this looks like Final Fantasy 15. This looks like, again, I don't know how to explain it.
Mm-hmm.
I was a little sad there wasn't a female character that seemed interesting, I guess. I don't know. It just a whole bunch of dudes.
Yeah, if they pull that again, it's going to be sad. I missed that in 15 as well. Like, they had Luna Freya in 15, and that was okay, but it wasn't a playable character. And otherwise, it was just a bunch of guys, camping and hanging out in this, like, brotherhood theme, which was okay, but it wasn't, it was missing that dynamic.
Yeah.
It was missing that duality to the story.
Yeah.
Although, same could be said for Final Fantasy XIII, which was kind of primarily female. Not that it was only, they definitely had Snow and those characters in there, but like 13 was Lightning oriented, and then 13-2 was Sarah oriented, and then Lightning Returns was Lightning oriented.
It's nice to have a female lead, I suppose. I don't know. If it's just, you want, as a girl, you want to be able to relate to some, a female character, if you will. And it's nice. Yeah, it's awesome when the lead is also female, which is fine. Like, I don't want, like, Final Fantasy X-2, where it was just like
over the top bubbly.
Yeah, but 13 was a little bit better. You had a little bit of both characters, and your main character was a female. That was pretty cool. Yeah. But yeah, I will say though, I really liked the concept of the I forget what they're called, but for lack of better words, the summons, how they're a little more like grand as opposed to like how in Final Fantasy IX, when you summon your summons, they're these big beasts and like these titans, if you will. How they're more grand. I like that they're kind of returning that concept to this. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do. I don't feel like that's anything new.
No.
Sorry.
I don't know.
I just like the summons have like so the games have always had monsters, right? And essentially the summons are just more extravagant monsters that aid you instead of,
But like, I suppose as what I'm saying is like we actually get cutscenes in 9 of these gargantuan monsters as opposed like, and they were big in say like Final Fantasy VIII that we just finished playing, but you don't get cutscenes like based around these summons. Like they're a lot more important to the storyline.
I do like, I like that concept where they integrate the magic system and the battle system into the storyline itself instead of having these two completely separate components. And they've been doing that pretty well through most of the series that we've played. 7, they had the materia system and they worked the materia into the story. And 8, they have the GF system and they're working the GFs and all of that into the story to some degree. But I do feel like, for example, 8, it was forced. And then you look at like 13, and 13 is kind of like they have the magic system kind of built into the story where they came from the Fal'Cie, but it's really two separate things. Like you fight and that's your thing, but then the battle system is just not really incorporated into the story hardly at all. I don't know. But yeah, I mean there's not much to go off of,
Sure.
It's just fun to speculate, The biggest thing for me is I'm excited for a new world to explore, a new Final Fantasy to explore. And it's been a while. I mean, Final Fantasy 15 came out when we started the podcast, so it's been, 4 years since we've had a brand new Final Fantasy.
They've milked that cash cow for a long time. I'm ready for 15 to be put to rest.
Well, it is. I think it's when they announced the episode Ardenon, and then they had a couple others that came with it, and they canceled everything other than Ardenon that was announced that did release. I think that was them saying, "Okay, we're done." Like nobody bought the DLC stuff, so it was like, "Okay, we're not going to do it anymore. We're done."
Well, good. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how 16. What we're looking at here soon. Hopefully we'll get some more news.
Yeah, the last time they spoke on it was there was more to come in 2021. So we'll probably not see anything new coming out of Final Fantasy XVI throughout the rest of this year. But hopefully, early next year we'll get some sort of idea of when it'll be released, maybe some more information on the story. I'm excited for it.
Yeah. I'm excited to hopefully start seeing some information about Part 2 for 7 Remake too.
Yeah, I agree.
Even if it's just a little bit.
The rumor mill right now is saying 22. I'm pretty sure.
Well, that's not bad.
And I mean, we don't know, exactly, but I don't know. I feel like that's a little bit too far, in my opinion. They should have had these worked out to come out once a year, not in 2 years. But
I mean, it kind of goes back to though how we felt about the remake as a whole. We want it done right.
Right, that's true.
So I mean,
I fully agree. I would rather it take more time and have it done correctly than to, have it rushed and have it bad. But on the flip side, I don't want to wait too long in between them. I mean, a year is more than enough.
Yeah. Well, I definitely feel like for myself personally, I would like to revisit the game before part 1 before I start part 2 again. Just, I don't know. I've wanted to anyway, so it would be a good reason to when part 2 finally comes out, but
I think they were not happy with their sales, that it didn't quite hit what they were expecting. I think they were wanting it to hit like Final Fantasy 15 sales numbers or whatever, and it didn't. But I think they shot themselves in the foot with this one because they didn't have it complete. And I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people out there who are not going to buy this game until it's finished.
Yeah.
And so that sucks.
I've seen a few of those people. So yeah, I can understand. I mean, we've had that conversation before where you felt like that you almost wanted to wait too. I don't want to wait personally, but I can respect why anyone would want to. It is frustrating, but I mean, we've waited, this long.
Right. Well, and I've also heard, and again, who knows how true these things are that I've heard in the internet somewhere, but I have heard that they kind of built this game, the first part of Final Fantasy VII Remake, to potentially not make any more, just like in case it doesn't sell at all, that they, wanted
that they built the first part as a like almost like it could be finished on that single part or something.
Right, yeah, like, okay, and now that's it. Like, your brain has to just, enjoy what could have been for the rest of the game.
I did see a rumor pop up about supposedly someone getting this encrypted email about something like that. I really don't feel like that they bombed that bad on their sales.
No, they didn't.
I find it so hard to believe. But then they were... I don't know where you've got your information from, but I've seen some other things like that they wanted to make Sid a replacement for Chadley. And that Kite Sith would actually be riding Red 13.
Yeah, we must have watched the same YouTube video.
I didn't watch a YouTube video. I read the post, but yes, and I mean, there's going to be rumors out there, and whether this is true or not.
Sure, yeah. I know. You got to take everything on the internet with a grain of salt.
I don't know.
Yeah, but
I would
like
be interested in having other Zap Chats about what we're expected to. Well,
yeah,
that's true. It really is what our gaming foundation was built on the Final Fantasy series.
Yeah, and that's absolutely true. I mean, if you guys listen to our very first introduction podcast episode, it's terrible, by the way, so be prepared for that. But we have our gaming history in the Final Fantasy series. So when a new game comes out, similar to when 15 came out, like that jumped to the top of the list because it's a brand new experience for us for the Final Fantasy series. And similar to 16, like it doesn't really matter where we're at in playing through the series. 16 will jump to the top and we'll just play it, because this is our interest. This is what we're going to do. I mean, of course, we're always going to be pushing to continue with the Final Fantasy series, and we'll get through it when we get through it. But I fully enjoy taking our time and, like Final Fantasy VIII, we're done with Final Fantasy VIII. And like, I want to jump to 9, but like I kind of want to just relax and do something else for a little bit, and we'll get to 9. Like it's guaranteed we're gonna play and beat 9 and review it and talk about it and have a good time. But the sooner we get to 9, the closer we are to the end, and I'm not. I don't want to get there yet.
Although I will say I would be interested in starting a new series after Final Fantasy.
Yeah,
there's several out there.
Yeah, the Tales series. We had Dragon Quest.
Yeah, that was just recently suggested to us.
Yeah, in the Discord. If you guys want to join our Discord and send us more suggestions, there's a link in the description, but it's something like it's discord.gg/fattybees or something like that. It's like FATYBZ or BEZ. I don't know.
Fatty busy bees.
Fatty bees.
Speaking of bees.
Yeah, Bee Simulator. We played that last for our last podcast episode. And you can check that out over on our website, zapnight.com, or our YouTube channel. But yeah,
check out our disappointment.
It wasn't,
It was disappointing.
Yeah, it was. But
such is life.
It had a good concept behind it.
Yeah, that's about all it had going for it, unfortunately.
I know. Yeah, I know.
But, that's one of the reasons why we play these games and review them. You gotta have a few bad ones in there.
Yeah, that's true. I talk about it a lot in when I'm on Twitch, but our backlog of games, of stuff that, like, just me, like the games that I want to try and play for the podcast is huge. And then, you tack on the stuff that you want to play and the stuff that people that are listening want us to play. It's insane. And we only play one game a month, mainly because I work, I have a full-time job. You are taking care of a child most of the time. We literally don't have more time to play any more games than the one a month. So, bear with us. We really do want to get to as many good games as possible. But on the flip side, I also don't mind throwing in a game like Bee Simulator that's not the best game in the world. Right. But it's an easy play. We got through it in a couple hours. So it's kind of nice to have those tossed in there as well. But yeah, I'm fully open to people sending us suggestions. I've said it before. If you want us to play a game, if it's not in my library, you can send it to me. I will give you my address to send me a video game, and we'll push it to the top of the list. I don't even care. For a free game, I will play it and review it.
Nice.
Yeah. So yeah. Anything else, Kaylee?
No. It's been it's October.
It is. Yep.
Kind of winding down.
We're getting close to the end of the year.
It's been a quick year, strange year.
Very strange. Yeah, and we'll probably do our year review like we usually do. It'll probably be a Zap Chats sometime.
It just seems like we just did that.
I know. Well, I think we did, because we did that in our July Zap Chats episode.
That's
so yeah,
right.
we did just do something like that. So
that's right.
But we'll probably do some sort of year in review where we talk about some stats or whatever, but that'll be either December or January, which will be here tomorrow.
I know.
It's going to be no time at all.
It really will. Well, I gotta tell you, I'll be glad to get out of 2020.
Yeah, I think everyone is with you on that.
It's been a rough year. It's just been crazy.
Well, hopefully we're on the back end of it, and we'll be cleaning everything up soon, and it'll be better next year.
We'll get some new games in. And
maybe a new system or two.
Yeah, right.
All right, guys. Well, that's all for today. Thank you all so much for listening to this Zap Chats for October. If you want to hear more of us talking, of course, you can check out our website, zapnight.com, where you can see everything that we've got going on. You can follow us on all of our social media. We have Instagram, Facebook, Twitch. I don't know if you can call Twitch a social media. I guess in some form it is. But yeah, check us out. Follow us. We're always hanging out doing something. So yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening. We'll catch you guys next time.
Bye.